The sterile white laboratory hummed with the quiet efficiency of advanced xenobiological research. Dr. Skylar Chen, lead xenanthropologist of the Valorian Science Collective, adjusted her protective visor as she leaned over the examination table. The specimen before her was fascinating, a remarkably preserved human corpse recovered from a derelict colony ship that had drifted into Valorian space 3 cycles ago. Remarkable bone density, Skylar murmured into her recorder, her forearms moving with practiced precision as she catalogued measurements. The skeletal structure suggests adaptation for high-gravity environments, yet the muscle tissue indicates incredible versatility. Her assistant, Blake, a young Valorian researcher with brilliant crimson scales, stood nearby, monitoring the bioscanner readings. "Doctor, I'm still getting residual energy signatures from the neural pathways. It's unusual for remains this old. Probably just electromagnetic echoes from the ship's failing systems," Skylar replied, though her scientific curiosity was piqued. "Continue monitoring. I want a complete cellular analysis before we begin the dissection." The human had been remarkably intact when they'd found him, frozen in the vacuum of space after what appeared to be a catastrophic hull breach. His right arm had been severed cleanly at the shoulder, likely from the same accident that killed him. They'd recovered the limbs separately, and it now rested in a containment field nearby. Blake adjusted his scanner, his tail twitching nervously. "Nota, the energy readings are increasing. This doesn't make sense. The specimen has been deceased for at least 70 standard years." "Impossible," Skylar said, but she paused her examination. Her primary eyes focused on the corpse while her secondary eyes watched the data streaming across her holographic display. Blake was right. The neural activity was spiking. Perhaps some kind of post-mortem electrical discharge, she theorized, though even as she said it, the explanation felt inadequate. The laboratory lights flickered. Then the corpse's chest moved. Blake stumbled backward, his scales flushing white with shock. "Dr." Skylar froze, her scientific mind wrestling with what her eyes were telling her. The human's chest rose and fell, again a shallow, rattling breath. Frost crystals that had clung to his skin began to sublimate, creating a thin mist around the body. "Get the medical team," Skylar commanded, her voice steady despite the impossibility unfolding before her. Now, the human's eyes opened. They were blue, startlingly, vividly blue, and they moved with awareness, scanning the unfamiliar laboratory with obvious confusion. The man's jaw worked, and a sound emerged from his throat, rough and crackling like breaking ice. "Well," the word was barely intelligible. Skylar's translator matrix struggled for a moment before recognizing the ancient human dialect. She approached cautiously, all 4 hands raised in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "You're safe," she said, though she had no idea if that was true. "You're aboard a Valorian research vessel. I'm Dr. Skylar Chen. Can you understand me?" The human's eyes focused on her, and she saw the moment cognition fully returned to them. He tried to sit up, grimaced, and managed to prop himself on his left elbow. His gaze traveled down to his right side, where his arm should have been. A long moment of silence stretched between them. Then the human looked directly at Skylar, and with a perfectly calm, perfectly reasonable tone, asked, "Can I have my arm back?" Blake made a strangled sound somewhere between a laugh and a gasp. Skylar's scientific composure cracked. You've been dead for 70 years. You were frozen in space. Your cellular structure should be completely degraded. This is impossible." The human, the very much alive human, managed a weak smile. "Yeah, well, death doesn't really take with us humans. Not permanently, anyway." He coughed, and Skylar noticed his skin was already regaining color. "The name's Marcus Rivera, formerly of the colony ship Perseverance. And seriously, I'd really like my arm back. It's expensive to grow new ones." "Grow new ones?" Blake whispered, his scientific horror mixing with dawning fascination. Marcus nodded toward the containment field. "That one's still good, right? Just need to get it reattached before my system finishes regenerating the shoulder joint. Makes the grafting easier." Skylar's mind raced through the implications. Humans could survive vacuum exposure. Humans could survive decades of frozen preservation. Humans could regenerate lost limbs. Her entire species had dismissed Earth as a backwater world populated by fragile, short-lived creatures. They had been catastrophically wrong. "Blake, get the arm," she ordered, her scientific excitement overriding her shock. "And someone get medical up here. We need full life support systems." As Blake rushed to comply, Marcus tried to sit up fully. Skylar moved to help him, supporting his weight and noting that his body temperature was already climbing to normal levels. "How?" she asked simply. Marcus shrugged his remaining shoulder. Humans are hard to kill, Doc. We evolved on a death world where everything tried to murder us daily. Our bodies adapted. Redundant systems, aggressive healing factors, cellular preservation mechanisms. Most species develop one survival strategy. We developed all of them. He paused. Though I gotta say, 70 years is a new personal record for playing dead. Blake returned with the containment field, and Marcus's eyes lit up. Oh, thank God. You actually kept it. Most aliens just incinerate severed limbs. We're scientists, Skylar said, still processing everything. We preserve specimens. Right, about that. Marcus looked around the laboratory, taking in the examination equipment, the scanning devices, the instruments laid out for dissection. Were you guys about to cut me up? An awkward silence filled the room. In our defense, Blake offered weakly, you were very convincingly dead. Marcus laughed and Skylar found herself amazed once again. This creature had been frozen in space for 70 years, had just regained consciousness on an alien ship, was missing an arm, and he was laughing. No hard feelings, Marcus said, but maybe next time check for a pulse. We humans are stubborn about staying alive. It's kind of our thing. As the medical team rushed in and began the complex process of reattaching his arm, Skylar made a mental note to completely revise her species' assessment of humanity. They weren't fragile. They weren't weak. They were the most terrifyingly resilient species the galaxy had ever encountered. And they did it all with a sense of humor. Humanity, indeed. Fuck yeah.